You're on.
You ready, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Excuse me. May 23rd, we call the Selectmen's meeting to order. First order of business is to salute the flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public input?
None today.
Okay, the next order of business is review and approval of the minutes from Monday, May 9th, regular meeting at 9 a.m.
Nothing jumped out at me.
Just the spelling of Representative Cordelli's last name in the second to last paragraph. And the second sentence in the last paragraph, I believe that it should say Superior Court, not Supreme Court.
It's Cordelli, O-C-O-R-D-E-L-L-I. It is Superior Court.
Okay. Wow.
So just the A to an O on
Correct.
Cordelli?
Right.
Okay,
And the second to last sentence,
yeah, got it.
that's all that I saw. I move to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is our police chief here?
He's not yet. I will go check.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have fire yet. Excuse me. That's what this is about.
He's not even here.
It's not here? No. Okay. Been moving right along. Is Mark Weimer here? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, come on down. What's up?
I was talking to the guy, and I guess the biggest thing is I'm looking at a piece of property up here in the Sandy Knoll Road, which is the Class 6 road. And just trying to see, I'm not asking the town to do it, but obviously I'm gonna have to fix up the road and look at putting some, I guess I'm just looking for direction, make sure the town is okay with me doing that kind of work and where to go. Is that the?
Yeah, already has one.
Yeah.
You got this copy right here, yeah.
Okay,
So,
that would just answer some of the questions.
it does.
We have to take an affirmative vote to let you spend your own money. But realizing that it's not changing the class of the road, which presents maybe some issues as far as your, okay, homeowners insurance, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and one of the biggest reasons for, I mean, obviously we want to be able to travel back and forth easy enough, but I understand even long term, like the maintenance is going to fall under my aspect of things. It's just, yeah, the homeowners insurance and stuff like that is something I'm going to have to look at that aspect once
Right.
that point comes. I
I mean,
know.
historically, in fact, we just took over a portion of Willand Road that for the last 40 plus years has been a Class 6 road maintained by a resident that lives up there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not unheard of.
Oh, is that all the way up on the back end, right at the top of the hill?
If you're coming off of 171,
Yeah,
Willand Road,
get
yeah.
all the way up to the end, just before.
Last house on the left, right?
Yeah.
Before the road disappears into the trees.
Yeah, no, I've been doing a bunch of work down, even farther down into one of the houses that's kind of off grid down in there.
Are you planning on building a house on Sandy Knoll?
Yeah.
Up there on Class 6?
Yeah.
That's, you're gonna need you need a variance or special exception to do that as well, right?
Well, it says here 3 steps must be taken for building to be allowed on a Class 6 road. According to RSA 647:41L C, the local governing body, after review and comment by the planning board, has to vote to authorize the issuance of the building permit. The municipality will neither assume responsibility for maintenance or any liability for damages resulting in the use thereof, and prior to issuance of the building permit, the applicant shall produce evidence that notice of the limits of the municipal responsibility and liability has been recorded in the county registry of deeds. Simple enough.
So I think it's a visit to the planning board.
The planning board.
Yep.
And I talked to Jack too, and Jack said right off the bat, like, I'm gonna have to sign a waiver for the town saying that
Right.
I don't hold the town liable for anything. And again, that's part of the reason why we wanna upgrade and maintain the road, is to make it so that's not gonna ever be an issue with
Right.
the fire department or the police department being able to gain access to that property.
I'd move to grant permission.
Have you bought the land yet?
I just made the official offer, but it was one of those things, I'm trying to put things in somewhat in order, like I don't wanna move forward and end up buying this piece of property and you guys sit there and tell me like, yeah, no way, you're out of luck.
We can take a provisional vote, but it doesn't, until you own the property, we really can't give you.
No, and that's fine, I just,
permission.
again, I don't wanna buy a piece of property that you guys are gonna end up telling me to, like,
Right.
I can't do anything with, so it's,
I think if you could change your motion to advising,
I rescind my
Mr.
motion.
Weimer that the selectmen don't have any issues with people buying property and building houses.
Why don't you just make the motion?
I'll make the motion. It's historically been the position of the board to allow building on Class 6 roads, provided all conditions are met.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Mark
So,
Weimer.
once you own the property,
Yeah.
once you've made that decision,
Yeah.
then come back and we've got the form that you need to sign.
Okay.
And we sign it as well.
Alright, like I said, I didn't wanna move forward on that without knowing if you
No.
guys would even allow me to.
Nice to have somebody actually think ahead a little bit and not do something and then have to beg forgiveness.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so.
Great.
Awesome.
You got our support.
Well, appreciate it, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Good luck.
thanks. Chief Shigori. You're only 2 minutes late. You know.
March,
Thanks.
I was out sick.
Again.
No, that was then. This is now. I give you April.
Oh, this is March.
That's what I said.
Catch it up.
I missed the meeting in March. Remember I was out sick?
Are you down because people are better behaved, or are you down because you're short-staffed?
I think it's
Thank you.
probably short-staffed. Fewer people out on the road. For example, like accidents, they might have been covered by other agencies, some of them, so there may not be, if I actually looked at the county records, there may still be the same number of accidents maybe, but we've covered less.
So, we had a felony in April, or May? April.
Yeah, we've had a few reports of, I believe that would be, we've had some incidents with a couple things going on. Contractors not taking deposits and not doing work. That's happened a few times. Although I'm not sure what's going on with the county attorney's office. They declined some last week. I haven't heard why yet.
So busy.
Well, I don't know why. They said it may have to be civil, and That's kind of where it's, I think that's what it was. It was either that or it was like stolen money from a credit card fraud or something like that. That's the felony we had. Nothing stands out in my mind beyond those kinds of things lately.
30 pounds of drug take-backs, that's a pretty good haul.
Yeah, 29.2 pounds, yeah. Just the receipt back from it. Fixed so it said Tufton Road, not Sandwich.
Is that all of it, or did we sell some and get some money out of it?
No.
Just checking.
So that's what we get from the,
What kind of drugs were they?
just prescription drugs that were sitting in people's cabinets.
Oh, I see. This is
Drug take back.
Okay. It wasn't taken from some
No, people turned them in.
felony drug provider.
Nope.
Perfect.
The new Tahoe will be delivered tomorrow. I've reached out to 3 upfitting companies for prices, because it's over 10,000. I have to get prices for our purchasing policy. Actually, ordinance, I think. But anyway, I've got 2 of return prices. One is, I'm still waiting to hear back on. And that's to upfit, including some of our equipment being transferred over. That's,
So there was the one grant opportunity, the $50,000 that I gave you, but there's
Yes.
another one in the in our newsy notes from.
there's the Gopher one that's for for COVID and public safety. I knew that one is 50,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the same one? Because there was correspondence. I'll read it. I'll get it to you.
Yeah, if you give me a copy of it. I got the other one. I've looked at it. I reached out to both some chiefs that have put in for it. And I've also talked to the fire chief, and we talked about, and I talked to gophers and found out what may be allowed and what may not be allowed. So they're kind of, it's not real clear, despite that.
Right.
They can kind of tell what they've granted on some things, but
Yeah, I'll look it up.
yeah, if it's gophers for the safety one, that's due June 3rd.
June 3rd.
So I'll have to work on that this week to get it to you.
And are you back in full complement now?
No,
I thought you were.
no.
You need a non-public?
That's, somebody's out with COVID now,
Oh, okay. So it's a natural disease.
so we're still short.
Have they limited their self-quarantine to 5 days now? Is that the CDC's recommendation?
5 days, unless you're in a group healthcare setting, or healthcare group setting, like a nursing home or the jail, or work at a hospital. And it doesn't matter at the hospital what you're doing, you basically have to, that's 10 days.
So does,
But it's 5 days and 5 days with a mask afterwards.
so your officer has COVID or has just been exposed?
Has.
Okay, so they're out until they get better.
Yeah, for 5 days.
And you had more discussions with the USDA about the police department, or is that just continuing the same thing? I
It
just
was the
asked.
same stuff we had before, we talked about, but I don't think I was here for that meeting.
No, I watched it.
You watched it?
Yes.
I don't know if there's anything
Nothing
new.
enlightening.
And I did send a thing out to you about mitigation grants,
Right.
which I mentioned it from this aspect of the bridge on Tufton Road Neck, but also what key about that relating to the station is it's no longer, before I was working with Courtney Jordan was our field rep. She's moved to a different county, there's no real field rep for this county right now.
Yeah. You don't have to read that.
I'll take a look at that.
Yep.
And so we have two kind of that are covering two counties, but it really doesn't matter in a sense because now they're going through program contacts rather than field reps doing the in-between. So I have to go directly to whoever's running that program, so. That's,
Okay, Chris Fournier's working on part of that too from Bergeron's office, because they're gonna, they're adding, theoretically adding to the bridge aid money,
yeah,
but he's also looking at hazardous mitigation money as well, so.
but as it relates to the building for the emergency management grant money for the EOC at the station and getting $125,000, it's no longer through Courtney Jordan. It's now, I gotta go different routes to find out where it's at.
Is this new money or old money?
The same money we talked about before for having it, the EOC at the station.
Right, but is that money that we secured or didn't secure?
It's money we were applying for,
Okay.
so we haven't secured it.
So it's not been added to the bottom line.
It is not.
And, I don't know, did you have anything else for the chief?
Yeah. Are Camp Belknap's security concerns impacting our department in any way?
So Camp Belknap has hired a private security company. That security company has asked for police officers to help out when they can. So it would be on time off, the detail rate, which covers our costs, so it won't cost us any money there. Or other officers, obviously we can't provide it, we don't have enough
We're
coverage.
small, yeah.
So they're providing the security when we can fill in, we fill in, or other agencies, and they're responsible for billing the security company themselves. So in other words, Wilbro, if they do a time there, they bill the security company, and our rate for details covers our costs. So no, it's not impacting us operationally as far as that part. Where it is impacting us is, well, for example, the Thursday before this started up, I had a series of emails from the camp's attorney that I had to address. I've had motions I've had to address with court. I just got another one today. Then I had to meet with the security company. So there's time being spent addressing these concerns. But as far as the details themselves, no. But as far as court, and I've obviously wanted to touch base with the security company and make sure everything's okay. But there has been a time on my part to deal with the attorney for the camp and issues with the court. And like I said, I just got another
You don't have
motion.
much choice in that case.
Don't have much choice, but it's
And these dealings,
frustrating.
it's frustrating, I'm sure, and time consuming, but these are under your normal purview of responsibilities.
Yes, but the other 5 camps I don't seem to have any
Right.
time, stuff like that. Although tomorrow morning I have to go meet Nat Crane, reference a planning board, and that should take just a couple minutes.
So they're gonna also address the traffic issues with?
They've asked for traffic details on there this year. So last year, what they did is because of COVID, they came up by the laundromat. They put people in the field to test them for COVID. People were being released as they got their test results. So it's kind of a build up in the field, slowly trickle out. I did the first day of drop-offs, and you'd have 2 or 3 cars lined up, but nothing that blocked anybody. As what did happen though, on pickup day, there was a problem because people would show up early and they wouldn't let them onto the property early. So you'd have parents that were eager to get their kids showing up at like 1:15, and 9 o'clock was pickup time, and they ended up with that. I don't know if I shared it. There's like 30 some odd cars,
Right.
like from the entrance to the camp, the main entrance to the field entrance, not quite to the house, but there was a line of cars on one side of the road. Theoretically, that should be dealt with. We'll see. This year, originally last year, I was told they weren't going to do COVID anymore because it ruined their field. And I'm like, really, that's too bad because that helped out, but at least on the drop-off days, filtering out a few people at a time. This year, COVID's still around, so they are doing that again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be addressed and it shouldn't be a problem. Fingers crossed.
Okay, we'll keep your eye on it, because we do have residents of Chase Point.
And I've expressed those concerns, and I've had, again, many conversations with their attorney and stuff about whether or not that's appropriate to block off half the road. And well, and then it got into, well, we've done it for years, still doesn't make it okay, and
Past practices,
yeah.
not,
So, and hopefully, I think they're supposedly working on long-term solutions, so hopefully that, as you know, conversations about pull-offs and whatever.
Right.
They need to come up with some sort of long-term solution, not having
should we,
us out there.
should the town put signs on the road?
Well, that's what I threatened to do.
No cars on this side of the road, and no unattended vehicles on this side of the road?
That's what I had offered up, is if they didn't come up with a solution, I said I'd approach the selectmen about posting the road, no stopping, standing, or parking. That got them at least motivated to come up with something for a solution, hopefully. I don't know that we need to yet, but that is a solution if it is a problem.
And it's not a solution, it's just more litigation. And I think if we can avoid confrontation and litigation, we're much better off.
I believe so too,
Hopefully
but
they'll come up with a solution.
hopefully they will.
And no, we got a letter from Seth and Newsy Notes about Farm Island. They're not gonna use Farm Island this year again, so that issue
That's-
hopefully is gonna
we'll
sit
see.
for a while.
Well, no, I just got a notice from the court that there's gonna be a hearing on June 21st, and obviously if you saw the paper last week, there's a lawsuit being filed
Right.
over that, so I don't know if that's gonna, I got the impression that they were looking for a resolution so that they could still use it this year, so it may or may not happen.
Well, according to the letter, they're not using it, so I'll hold Seth to his position, I guess.
Well, then, I guess I'd like to see that letter because that would have bearing on our hearing on June 21st.
Shoot, they're a copy.
Yeah.
I thought I sent it to you.
Maybe, I don't know. I know they updated, is that the community note thing? I have that then, which they've since updated, I guess, and added some comments to the public. I believe I have that one, and if it's the thing to the, I believe I have that. Yes, I have that. Sorry, yes.
Okay,
You and the road agent met with the gentleman on Dame Road
Yes,
about
thank you.
horse crossing signs.
Horse crossing signs.
Good recommendation.
And I recommend that we put something up there, because there's a crest of a hill right near his house, so if we put one on each side. And speaking of that, there was another issue that came up. Somebody raised the intersection of Federal Corner and 109A,
Right?
parking across from the store. I suggested that perhaps they, maybe the store too, come in and basically I suggested they talk to Division 3 DOT. DOT said, well, we can put signs up, but it's up to the selectmen to decide. So they'll put signs up if the selectmen say they don't want parking there, but it's up to us to say we don't want parking there.
yeah, but that's not the solution. The solution is something like what we've done up on 171, which is slowing traffic down, hopefully.
Well, no.
Notification that this is a
They're-
commercial zone.
It's visibility to the
It's
left
visibility,
coming
it's
off.
Visibility to the left, when you come out of Federal Corner and you look to the left, if there's a truck parked.
Right, it's right in front of Mary's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's,
People stand and
we've been
stop
parked,
there
I saw
for
you
years.
parked there just not too long ago.
I do
We have parked
many
there for
mornings.
50 years, more than that, before I had a car, people were parking
Mhm.
there. So I'm not certain
That would be up to us to decide
yes.
at some point in time. Certainly take it under advisement.
Yeah,
She's probably gonna come in on June 6th.
really?
Good.
Well, try to exhaust all of the options with DOT.
Well, the option, DOT has put it back in your lapse.
We don't get to, we don't get to put signs on state roads.
No, but if you, they said it would be up to you to tell them to put signs there. They would put signs up if you told them. to.
Really, will they put signs up if we tell them?
That's what they said.
So
That's what
the
they seem
same
to
thing
apply.
with the
Eventually-
four corners
Let's
and.
verify that, because they never used to.
I know, I asked for a change of speed limit sign one time, and I thought I was asking for their firstborn.
Yeah.
And that I was gonna break the bank for a sign that every other change in speed zone had coming. Down in Melvin Village, we only had one,
Yeah.
and they made a big
We
deal
asked
out of it.
for a change of speed zone down at 19 Mile Bay a long time ago, and they said no.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about just a sign saying 30 mile an hour ahead. They made a big deal about that at one point.
So we can't ask for them to post signs on our road, our state roads, obviously.
You can for no parking is what they
Is
implied in
that
that
it? Are
email.
they- Maybe they could send a list.
Because that's what we had to do down
Signs.
at, when we changed the signage down in, at 19 Mile Bay.
Yeah.
We had to, if you recall, we had to give them the distance that they wanted, and they put the signs up after that. So if you wanted no parking along the road, they kind of put it back to the selectmen, I guess.
So we're limited to no parking signs.
You'd have to talk to DOT.
I think they need to come in and see us. That's what I think.
No. I'm just saying with the email they gave back to that
Forward
lady.
us a
was-
list of the approved signs that we can vote on. 'Cause I don't want to waste our time voting on signs we can't.
The email's in the folder.
Yeah,
Is it?
Mhm.
Right.
you can see what they told her anyways.
I did.
One thing since you brought up the four corners up there, and I want to reiterate something that I watched and looked at and looked at carefully. If you look, I mean, this is one of the things that I got hit with one time. I had hit with, somebody threw this back in my face, if you will. I said, oh, you didn't stop at the stop sign. And if you look, for example, the stop sign on Ledge Hill Road, you cannot see that till you're passing Dow's driveway. The stop sign sits back. In other words, if you stop at that stop sign, next time you go up there, stop at the stop sign where your front bumper's by the stop sign.
Oh,
You
yeah.
look to the right and see what you can see.
Can't see
Yeah,
it.
no, you gotta
You gotta creep up. So the point is, people can stop at the stop sign and then start going, you know what I'm saying? They still have to yield the right of way. But I mean, I can't, unless I sit at Dow's basically, or whoever owns that now, I can't see that stop sign to say they didn't stop at the stop sign. I mean, that's kind of the issue. It's not just, it's the visibility, and when the car's there, that doesn't add, that adds to it. And now we've got a mailbox, that sign that if you hit the right way, that
You're right in the middle of the stop
that
sign.
post comes, that
Yep.
top beam goes across, then you get the lilac that kind of comes over the top, but
Yep.
we'll see what happens as it starts growing a little more. But anyway, but that's the thing that I noticed, like if you stop at that stop sign, I look to the right, you're looking at the closest driveway to Dow's is what you can see. Likewise, the other way, if you stop at the stop sign, look to the right, you can see the white fence at Oshichinski's, I'm probably saying that wrong, but Joe's there, so it's, you have to creep forward after you stop. And I have had somebody one time say, you'd stop at the stop sign, no, I stopped, and then I had to come forward. You know,
I do that every morning,
you have to.
every
I
morning,
do it many mornings.
Yeah, so anyway,
on my way to work.
that's,
We should move those stop signs. Have the people on 171 stop. People drive through.
Forget what town I was in the other day, but approaching stop signs, they had progressively wider white strips painted on the side of the road, like where you would put rumble strips.
Yeah.
But they were painted progressively wider until you got to the end. Just something else to catch the eyes. I thought that was a good idea. Something fast and cheap.
probably cheaper than grinding rumble strips in.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea either.
Right, no, it's not a bad idea, the rumble strips, because at 171 used to have that. But anyway, that's, so that's where we're at.
Great.
Okay, thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Fire department's not here either.
They're at a call right now, I think.
Oh,
There was a medical call I didn't think I needed to go to, so.
There you go, thanks.
Is Parks and Rec here? Is Dennis here?
he
Dennis
is,
is
he's
in the building
upstairs.
somewhere.
He can call me.
time for Steve Lincoln to go through these. It's all right. Got other things to do.
Dennis is coming.
Very cool.
Mark, is this the most exciting thing you have been to, or what?
It's actually interesting. So, I know I don't have to be here, it's just kind of neat to see what's going on.
Are you currently a resident of Tufton Borough?
I am. Yeah, I live up off Ledge Hill.
Cool.
Do you stop at the stop sign and then creep
I
up?
gotta be honest, like that is a bad intersection. There's not against anybody. It just is. If you stop at the stop sign, you can't see through the house, and you know it's.
Am I taking this spot?
No, go.
HTM Electric, is that you?
Yeah.
That's a recording.
Being
guys.
recorded.
Whether you like it or not.
All right. Good one.
Thank you.
Just first on the budget, that's the top page you got there. It doesn't really reflect banners we bought, the benches. We do have 10 new benches coming in. We bought 5 last year, 5 this year. Or the staff that has started last week, so hopefully your next reflecting of the income will be on the next one. And there'll be stuff on that because we just spent almost $500 on dock hardware. So anyway, just quickly, last Thursday was a good day. We went to Camp Belknap and we had some good representation from the town. I know Bob was there and the chief and some of our commission members. So it was good. I got a chance to talk to their director. The one thing he offered, which kind of got my mind going a little bit, he said anytime before camp or after camp, spring or fall programs, camp is ours. We can use it, anything we want, canoes, kayaks, whatever. So it was a good connection, and they're going to certainly be part of Old Home Days this week, which I'll get into. So that was a good day. Maintenance-wise, I did see the ramp. I'm not sure if that's a Band-Aid or not on that ramp with the sand over it. I don't know if it'll wash away, but let's see. I mean, for now it's covered, it's safe, and we'll just go from there.
Think it'll get us through the summer?
Let's see how much activity it gets. A lot of people put kayaks in there and stuff. So, I mean, there's a good chunk of sand over it. It's covering the ramp, it's covering the sharp edge, so we'll just keep an eye on it for now. The 20-mile bay lines, we made connection with the doctors, and Zach's gonna do that Memorial Day, 7 in the morning. So that'll be good. I mean, we really didn't do a good job the last couple of years with Jim Beam, and he's been too busy, so I think pushing it off to Zach is, and we got them both together, so they're pretty happy about that. I want to thank Mark. Mark actually come down and almost finishing up some of the electric stuff down there, which is good. There's a whole new box, and we're really happy about that, especially before the season.
This is stuff we were talking about?
Yeah, Mark was down there today and put up new boards, new panels, everything, so.
Good. Excellent, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We thank Mark for that. Again, we went to the Super Dock products. I can't believe how some of that stuff's expensive. Wow. Yeah, you know, I mean, like a fitting, you know, $75. You know, I mean, I just like $400 went like that. And a couple more pipes we gotta get. They're certainly needed. You've seen some of the pipes. They're bent. They're rusted. And we had issues last year with people jumping on the docks and the things sliding down, and we had them 3 days in a row fixing it. So I think we got that squared away, and the docks down there will be good. We do have doggy stations now in place. It took me 3 years to finally figure that out, that it's underneath, but we found the company, we got a key, we got the bags in, so we'll have doggy stations both at Central, Davis. I'm gonna put one down 19 Mile Bay. Do they bring their dogs there? Yes, they do. So we might as well put a station down there with bags. And you know, without anyone there, you know, it's open season, they can do what they want. So at least we'll have a doggy thing, and now, you know, we'll make sure that the bags are full at all times. Let's see. Our new grill, we decided we're gonna put that at Central Park and try and get that area a little more use. There's one grill over there now. We got a new grill. My initial plan was to get that on Cow Island, but talk is that maybe it's a little too dangerous out there. So we'll use it elsewhere. We'll put it down Central Park.
Fire danger, is that the danger? Or?
The danger of fire, I mean, you can still apply for a fire permit out there in camp. I just thought it'd be safer if they're having a fire in a grill rather than a ground thing, but people thought otherwise, so that's fine, no big deal. I'm easy to get along with. John Glidden had started work. He painted the post down there in the pavilion. He called me today, I think with this rushed heat we had this weekend, the place was a mess. We don't have all our trash barrels out, they'll be out by Memorial Day, but there was trash bags everywhere, so he had a little shock today, and I just said, you know, we gotta get by till Memorial Day, and he took care of that, but he seems like a good guy, and he's gonna work out fine. Program-wise, just going back, I'm sorry, I missed a little point here, on the budget, is it possible I get one of those credit cards for a couple of reasons? One, our budget don't reflect stuff when I go through Jack, use my own credit card, it's not reflected in the budget. It comes out of the reserve fund. Number two, the convenience for me is easy. I'm always buying trophies or this or something for Easter egg hunt or food or whatever. And sometimes he's not in and it's almost like, you know, hard to get the thing. So can I get a credit card? It would just make it easier on me for a lot of reasons. And I think when I use the credit card now, that's gonna be expenses that come out of the budget, which they're supposed to, rather than me going through the reserve fund. So.
Well, it could come out of the budget. I don't know why it has to come out of the reserve fund unless you're using a debit card from the reserve fund. Is that what you're using?
Well, like say I'll take my credit card and I'll go buy whatever, trophies online or something. So I'll turn it in to Jack. Jack will write the reimbursement check.
This is Jack Widmer.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want it to come off of the budget, you need to turn it into Kathy.
Okay.
And it comes out
of my credit card, so even if I did use my credit card.
Right, we do. We've had, I mean, we signed a couple of them this week.
Yep.
People, one
Sure.
member of the Conservation Commission signed a check for it. The people do that,
Okay.
so that's perfectly all right.
Okay.
If you want to charge it to your budget, and it's within the scope of your budget, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot easier than having town credit cards around. We had trouble with that years ago. So we had a policy not to have a big town credit card.
That's fine. That's fine.
But
I mean, it would just be.
rather than going to Widmer for reimbursement, because that's the only money he can reimburse from is your trust account.
Right.
You need to bring it into Kathy, it's directly for.
Okay. And then she will get it, you guys will sign the check.
Yeah, and
All right,
then we
that's
sign
fine.
the check on Friday.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there a town credit card that you can come in?
There is, Jack has it.
Oh, Jack has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only guy that has it.
So like I was hoping he'd be here Friday because the dog guy was coming, we went over to moving ground, got dog stuff, and I gave it to Jack. And Jack gave me the card and we went over.
See, there are two Jacks. The
Yeah, Jack Parsons has the
Jack
card,
Parsons
not,
got the card, but Jack Widmer's where you get your money.
Yeah,
And you need to come to Kathy.
okay,
And if you know somebody's coming, you know, like a dock guy,
yeah,
I mean, just get a bill and we'll pay them at the end of the week, unless they're
Yeah.
COD. We shouldn't be on COD with anybody.
what's happening, yeah, now, it's just on program wise, last Friday, we had family fun night with the parent teacher organization. What it is, we're starting to get big numbers. We had well over 100 up there. We had 3 different sections. We ran the kickball section, Parents Against Kids, and Chris, who's on our commission, came over and donated ice cream with his ice cream truck. So it was a nice time. Yeah. Volleyball starts a week from this Wednesday, June 1st, up at Davis Field. We got to align that field with the dimensions. Swim lessons, I think I'm going to play the lottery today because I just got an email today as I come in. A girl in Wolfboro has unbelievable swim credentials. she's looking for a part-time swim coach slash swim lessons. So I just talked to her, she's coming in Thursday, so it looks like Hannah and her will have 2 people doing the swim lessons rather than just
Yep.
Hannah.
Good.
So that's good, so.
Buy a ticket.
Yeah, I am gonna today, yeah. Paws in the Park is June 25th, that's shaping up pretty good. We got 3 food trucks, we got the DJ in order. We've only got about 9 or 10 vendors right now, so we gotta try and double that and get around 20 or so. Like I said, letters went out last week to radio stations and newspapers. And like I said before that, we sent out the vendors, it's been in the paper, so.
That list that you gave, that I saw, that list right there, there's a lot of businesses in town that aren't on that list.
Yeah, no, I know. That's just a list I've had over the years. We gotta develop that, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. That was for sponsors though, but I'll get into that. Cornhole was canceled, we only had 4 teams. The last 3 sessions we've sold out with 12 teams, and for some reason, I'm not gonna waste my time with 4 teams down there, so we'll try again in the fall. Bike to Work program, we canceled. Just give you a quick story about that. Wolfboro called us, the recreation, and said, Bike to Work, do you want to be part of it? Yes, we do. You'll be the lead man, yes. Contact the school, which we did. They said we've got coffee, donuts, muffins, stickers, signs, all that for you. Fine. Week of, that Monday before, last Friday, we got a call from them. They're not doing Tufton Road. You can come over and get some stickers. So that Friday, we had the Family Fun Day, we were getting ready, which was already a big event. So he said, we're not doing it. So I don't know why they did that. They did, my wife works the hospital, they were supposed to have a big setup there. They just had water, they had a big setup at the Carpenter School, but we were left out, so we didn't do that.
So it was Bike to Work,
It's Bike to Work thing, yeah, they just,
but it's just for school teachers? Is that?
no, it's for everything, the hospital employees, everything. And my first year here, they met here, and then, the police were involved, they closed the street down, and just a simple, bike out to the central school, and give them snacks after and stickers and stuff. Not a big deal, probably a half-hour deal, but for some reason.
Well, there's Bike Rodeo.
That's just, bike safety night is next weekend.
Right,
Next
but
Friday.
Bike to Work is something different.
Yeah, they did that, like I say, 3 years ago, and they haven't done it with the COVID, so they came back this year.
So Wolfboro Parks and Rec invited us to do it,
Yeah,
and then they said, nah, never mind.
yeah. So, anyway, let's go on.
Okay.
Yeah, we did canoe, you probably see those big canoes down there. That thing's starting to get a little momentum, we're starting to get riders on that.
And do we have insurance?
Yeah, he does.
We
We
do?
got copies, yeah, we do. He got it last year, he's getting it again, yeah.
Okay, we need to have it before he starts paddling
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the one he had last year is probably still current, so he's gonna probably renew it whenever we got it last year, so.
All right, we'll put a bug in his ear.
I will, yeah,
We'll get some noise on
yeah.
Huh.
And can you give me a copy of that to keep
I
in your
will,
file?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're working with the Conservation Commission. It was funny because Joyce and I were meeting on this grant for the state conservation, and Steve Scapaccio shows up as we were meeting, talking about that grant, and we're gonna combine with them if we can. There was 2 trainings we went to, they sent the person to the training to write the grant, but they're asking for $7 grand. You gotta have to ask for $8 grand. We're gonna ask for about 25, 30, and this will be for the bike trail. So that's in the process, and we're getting ready to put that together with them. Old Home Days, we had a meeting last Wednesday here. It wasn't overly attended, but the goal is to get the community back after COVID. Classic car situation is back. We're gonna do that at Davis Field. They wanna do it there because Central Park, they said there's rocks, it kinda goes up the hill a little bit, so we're gonna do it at Davis Field. The library I've talked to, they're gonna be part of it. We've got the programming set as far as town picnic, scavenger hunt, classic car, historical society. We're we're trying to contact, I mean, and the camps have been great. They said they donate lasagna, chicken, so. The town picnic actually, it seems like a lot of work for 2 hours. We're gonna go 4 hours. Camp Center, we've got a brand new dunk tank we're gonna use. We're gonna use their moon bounce. We've already ordered cotton candy. We got our own popcorn machine. We got the ice cream guy coming. We got the moon bounce coming. We got the free band that day. So we're trying to get to the point back 3 years ago where people would bring stuff to, and not just us feeding the hot dogs and hamburgers. So I'll never forget Jackie, my first year here 3 years ago. People were bringing stuff, but much easier to bring a bag of chips than make a salad. So she was a little bit lifted out there. Too many chips coming in. But anyway, that's going to be a good program, I think. And the concert sponsors, you have a list. They don't chip them. We sent them all out to those companies that you said were big type contributors that we pay. You know, big companies, 80 grand, 50 grand, whatever we're paying. Zippo, we got nothing from them. Right now, I got $1,900 in. One of our commission members is gonna come in with 500, so that puts us at 24. It's far less than, like you said, we're missing a lot of businesses. But, you know, the concert, somewhere around $4 grand for bands, police detail, it's gonna cost us a little bit, so, we might have to take a hit on that, I don't know, but we're still trying. What else we got? Okay. Let me ask you about this honorary conductor. We got 8 people that's out to the community to honor 8 people that have made Tufton Row a better place to live. And we're getting some requests in. But I know there's a fund we talked about that you guys honor people. Is there a way I can pay for some type of gift to these 8 people? We're gonna get up before every concert and honor one person. There's 8 concerts. But can I take funds from this other area rather than out of my budget?
We can take funds out of our budget, but you can't take funds out of our budget. You can only take funds out of your own budget. That's how it works.
Okay.
So we have a line item, I forget what the name
We
is.
do,
It was for that purpose though, right? Honoring people and stuff?
Yeah.
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 it can be done.
Okay.
Can be done, but it's gonna be our decision, not yours.
Right.
But you can bring us advice as to how to make our decision, which is what you should be doing. I don't know.
Okay. Looking for the name of that fund, man?
Yes, and Pete, my so's chip.
Well, we've got gifts and donations.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of, gifts and donations.
Where we've got $700 left in line. We're the first page of the budget. Somewhere. There it is.
What were you thinking, like a commemorative plaque or
Yeah,
something?
you know, I don't think they want, I mean, yeah, I'm 70, I'll be 70 years, I don't really need a plaque, you know, maybe something decorative like a, you know, goblet or something, crystal type, something that they could,
But something like that.
yeah.
What are you thinking for?
Snow globe.
Yeah, what are you thinking for a budget?
You know, there's only 8 of them, I mean, I think probably 30, 40 bucks a piece. You know, they're probably $200.
Yeah. Yeah, bring us your ideas
Okay.
and get some cash.
Couple other things. Is there a number of people that you're allowed on a commission? Thank you.
There's a,
I know there's a workable group, you don't want 12 people, but, you know, I mean, was at the meeting, like I said the other day, I said, they're not lined up. When I come here and after Gina left, Cal quit, it was me, Brandon, and Eileen, three of us. Now we've built it up a little bit to about 5 or 6. We're trying to bring a new guy on,
And you have bylaws, you should look at your bylaws.
yeah.
I say
That's
no.
the problem, the
I s-
bylaws we've got, I don't know where they got them, but one of our members who's an alternate said there's a limit, and I'm arguing.
The limit's always self-imposed. So if you want to increase the limit, you need to have a majority vote to increase the limit.
Of commission
The
members?
first thing you have to do is change your bylaws to allow you to have more membership.
Yeah.
So you need to go through that process.
So
If
who
it's
who
in
would
there.
vote to get more members, the commission?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Remember we talked about rules and procedures?
Yeah, and they passed out, different, I mean, we've come a long way as
Yeah.
our commission from 3 years ago to what we got.
If it gets completely out of hand, we can override your decision.
Yeah.
But I don't ever remember that happening.
No, not in Parks and Rec especially.
Or anybody.
No, I don't either.
Certain boards, like planning board, ZBA, are statutorily run.
Mhm.
Parks
Yeah.
and Rec are not. They're just local
Yeah.
committees. So the more, and, I mean, how many members were you expecting you wanted to have?
Well, it's just this new guy wants to come on, and if we have one guy that hasn't shown up, so we might move him out, and then an alternate, so, I mean, I just wanted one more, and if someone says you can't have them, I'm saying, why? They're not lined up at the door to say, I want to go on the Parks and Rec Commission. This guy wants to help, let's bring
Okay,
him
so the
in.
guy wants to help, you want to put him on the Parks and Rec, you need to submit an application or
I told him the chairman to submit a letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
right, and then we'll discuss at our meeting if there are any constraints.
Okay.
And I can't remember ever having
No, I don't either.
advice that we can't have as many members as we'd like to have. I mean, usually you're going the other way.
I know.
How few members can you have and have a quorum? So,
Last thing is, again, one of our commission members offered $10,000 fireworks. He just shows it off on his house outside the lake, I guess, and he wants more people to be able to enjoy it. And he's offered it. Again, we're looking for a site. I know on Facebook and stuff, there's been all kinds of comments both ways, yes, no. Guy up at the dump offered to have people park at his yard to shoot them off at the dump, so it's out there.
is the guy a licensed fireworks
Yeah.
guy? So he's got his liability and all that other stuff.
And we talked about doing it in the water, and, you don't wanna do it on a barge, you don't wanna, put
We
the
have to
thing,
stay
the debris in the
involved.
water and stuff like that, so.
You get the state involved to do that.
So anyway, that's out there, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but he's offered it again, it was very nice, so. That's all I have, gentlemen. Go Celtics.
Okay, two entities that you don't have yet on your list, that I asked you to have on your list.
Go ahead.
New Hampshire Electric Cooperative. They have grants every single year,
We'll get one this one.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 3,000 last year,
Yeah, we
yeah.
need to contact them. And Primex.
Which one's Primex?
Primex handles all of our, well, not all of our insurance, but a significant amount of our insurance. Not health insurance, but workers' comp,
Yeah.
general liability, all that sort of thing.
Okay.
And we got, I don't know, $25,000 when I was at the county to build a health trail. I don't know if that ever happened. So the 25 grand was just sitting there unspent. But they're like any other big company other than the little companies that we've talked to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they have a corporate charter that requires them to do certain things. So get with Kathy on that.
Okay.
And you may want to approach them about your mountain bike
Yeah.
thing.
Well, this one grant is specifically for trails and bike trails and stuff, so we're
Right.
hoping,
So
And I don't know where, does he work for the state, Steve Scapaccio? conservation? Because he keeps saying this girl works for him, and she sounds like she's with the state.
Well, maybe he
And
does.
she came to one of their meetings, and then he came to ours and said, this girl is gonna write the grant, but we wanna include you guys.
Just did,
So my question to Joyce the other day was, number one, can you have two different projects on the same grant?
yeah,
And number two, if you can't, then we didn't go to the training, then we'd be out. So hopefully everything works out. We'll see.
there was another grant, do I have that? Or did I give it to the chief? I think I gave it to the chief. Because the COVID money grant also mentions bicycles. So
You
that-
gave that to the chief info on that?
I think I gave my copy of it to the chief. Hold on.
Is it the SLFRF one?
Yeah,
I think that's what you just gave him.
I did, I gave it to the chief.
I can print you another one.
Oh, good.
Okay, so Cammy can do that.
Yeah, good.
Read through that. If somehow you think you might qualify, I mean, it's pretty broadly written, but you can bring it here and we'll have, what's her name?
Susan Burnside, the planning board secretary,
Right.
right, Susan Burnside.
Susan, right,
She's
Yeah,
had
she's
experience
very
with grants too, right?
right.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can't pick up.
She
some
was a
money.
sailboat racer, by the way, too.
Is she?
She was.
Really?
Yeah, she lived in the North Shore in Mass, yeah. Because the last meeting she heard us talking about the sail program. When I got on, she goes, can you tell me about the sailing? I said, no. She goes, I used to race them.
Nice,
Yeah, so.
nice.
Anyway. You know, Wolfboro don't have a Parks and Rec commission?
No.
A lady approached me the other day about that.
they don't
Just the
have
director?
Huh?
Just a director?
Yeah, yeah. I should put it over.
It's sort of like having, we have a road agent, they have a highway department. They
Yeah,
like to have their employees, they don't like to have free agents.
yeah. The lady was saying every time she submitted it, and she says, all I need is 25 people to sign a thing to get another warrant. She says, but it's always the wording. I said, we must have other commissions, just copy that wording, you know.
Right.
So, I don't know. Anything else, guys?
So is there a sailboat program?
What? No.
No. So those moorings are vacant?
No.
Who's on them?
The boat museum. He's supposed to be picking up his sticker for the morning.
So they're just,
The boat's not out there yet, but the mooring is there, which,
so the boat that's going on the mooring is for what purpose?
the keel program, which you
Okay,
read.
so there will be a sailboat
Yeah,
program. Okay.
not, I was talking about the kids.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Because we don't want to, you need to be careful that we don't have a private boat on a public mooring. You get yourself in trouble, and we'll be in trouble. So if you find out that they're not having a sailboat program, but, you know,
Yeah.
Joe
Even
Bananas
now,
has
we need
his
to get
boat
the
on
mooring,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
the sticker, yeah. All right.
Did a good job, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Fire Chief.
I assume that there was some, has everyone gone through that needs to go through now?
Yeah.
You're
All right.
nice.
You're good to go.
Sorry,
Half an hour.
You were on call.
Thanks.
We have that already.
You gave it to me.
I tried calling, but obviously I got the answer
Oh,
machine.
you were here already.
All right. So for 2022, we've had 54 fire calls, 95 EMS, 54 surface calls, 3 special details, for a total of 206. Gas furnace inspections, 18, 2 oil burner inspections, Wood pellet stove inspections is 1, life safety is 9 for a total of 30. And the 2021 numbers are underneath that. We're slightly down from 2021 with
What do you consider a life safety inspection? Is that like
life safety is that you go into a new home,
for
you inspect the
occupancy
home
permit?
for the occupancy as far as smoke detectors, windows, anything that we have to check off on when we're there. Also, the school, we have to inspect that once a year as far as for the state to make sure that everything meets the life safety regulations.
Did that fire up in Crawford Notch affect you at all?
The
Forest fire?
No, we did not go to that as far as it goes. Also, the same with the fire in Conway as far as the large hotel. We, along with Ospey Corner, were one of the only departments left in the mutual aid. So we didn't call up and say, hey, we're available to come up for that. But there has been quite a few brush fires in the area that we have been called out to as far as different mutual aid and things like that. You'll see that further in the report. Last year, the Tuftonboro Fire Rescue Department took part in the large animal rescue class. This class was held at the Tuftonboro Central Fire Station and at Winter Circle Farm. This class was sponsored by Ospey Valley Mutual Aid and was taught by MSPCA at Nevin's Farm out of Methuen, Mass. Department members from Ospey Valley Mutual Aid took part in the training, as well as a veterinarian, a farrier, and local horse owners in neighboring towns. This class was taught due to a few calls that dealt with extending events that involved horse rescues in Carroll County. During this class, it was noted that no town in Ospey Valley Mutual Aid had the specific equipment needed to perform the rescue of large animals. The Tuftonboro Firefighters Association, along with Tuftonboro PD Officer Abby Gillis, who was also a horse owner, put a letter together for donations for specialty equipment that was needed. A Tuftonboro resident, Robert Carley of Dame Road, donated $4,715 to purchase the needed equipment in memory of his parents, Fred and Rose Carley. This donation will cover the cost of the specific equipment, and other donations received will provide further training for using the new equipment and storage containers.
If I can stop you for a moment. Mr. Carley's the fellow that requested the 2 horse crossing signs. It'd do us really well to get those done for him. Thank you.
Should we'll be sending out a thank you card to Mr. Carley?
So we'll
I believe the fire department will do that.
we'll take care of
You've
all
always
that.
been good about that.
It's not over $5,000, so there's nothing that needs to be accepted as far as that goes. But we will order the specialty equipment as far as it goes and do future trainings on that. The flagpole light at Melbourne Village Station was changed from solar to LED light on the station to light the flag at night. This was to address the complaint from the public reference the poorly lit flagpole. Work was completed by Tim Christian Electric. Materials and installation was $872.05. The generator at the town office, townhouse, town garage have been serviced for a year by Scott Thompson Electric. The transfer station and the mobile emergency generator are left.
I thought we used a generator connection for
That is for the central station.
the big generator.
Yep.
Okay.
The generators here, the townhouse, and highway garage, and the transfer station was all put in by Scott.
Okay.
If he ever does not want to service them, then we'll go to generator connection or look at getting estimates for that. He's right now cheaper than they are as far as that, and that's something that Jack had him continue to do. All 17,823 feet of fire hose in the department was tested on 5/5/22 by Fail-Safe Testing Company. We only had 9 lengths of hose that failed this year. However, we're still working on replacing the large amount of hose that failed last year through the budgeting process. All 17 ladders passed their testing as well. A sensor that the department has been waiting for several months that deals with Engine 2's emission system was finally received by Eastern Fire Apparatus and repaired on 5/20/22. This part was covered under a warranty, and the part alone was $1,200. Car 1 went into Ed's Auto for exhaust work, and that was a total of $315.21. Boat 1's fire pump has now been repaired and is back in service. Total cost on the repairs of that was $1,309.78. Completed by Lighthouse Marine Services of Center Tuftonboro. Bike safety this year for everyone that's going to be on the road on 5/27/22 at Tuftonboro School with a rain date of 6/10/22, and that's a Friday. Camp inspections are going to start on 5/24/22, which is tomorrow. And do we know when the repairs will start on Union Wharf at 19 Mile Bay?
We don't, and I don't know, we had an appointment with our engineer, but he had another duty as a juror, I think.
Right, and
Have we reached out to him to ask when he can come back in?
Coming the second, the
June
13th.
13th? So June 13th, we'll have our engineer, and if you want to come by.
Sure. I just want to get an idea of when we
Yeah, our hope
need
is
to
do
move, if we have to move.
after Labor Day was
Yeah, our
pretty
hope
much
is
in
to
our
Okay.
do it after Labor Day.
what we thought, because
Yeah.
have less impact on the whole summer season.
Right. Awesome. I when I left the last time, I realized that I never asked that question as far as when it was going to happen. 5/14/22, there was a brush fire at 496 Arches Pond Road in Ospey Corner. Car 1, Utility 1 with 4 personnel responded to the scene, with 3 covering Central Station. And that equaled, by the time they were done, like a first alarm brush fire as far as because of access, and the area was apparently pretty stumpy and stuff like that.
Did you do something, burn it down there on Archie's Pond Road?
5/12/22, cover assignment for second alarm brush fire in Wakefield. Our engine 2 with 3 personnel went to Wakefield, 2 personnel covered Central Station. 5/9/22, second alarm brush fire in Stevens Hill Road in Tamworth. Car 1, ATV, forestry trailer, and utility 1, and engine 2 with a total of 6 personnel went to the scene. Personnel at Tuftonboro Central Station handled 3 other emergencies in town that same day. At 5/3/22, at 11:20 a.m., the department responded to 2 Millstone Point, which a plumber found an extinguished fire that was in a enclosed area of the property in the basement. Pictures. Wow. Apparently the fire took place sometime over the winter. What had occurred was that when they closed up the property for the winter, they took a battery out of an e-bike and put it in the basement of the home. All the heat was shut down in the home besides that one basement area that is there in the picture. At some point in time during the winter, that battery failed and started a fire until it ran out of oxygen and self-extinguished itself.
They got lucky.
Very lucky. I didn't realize how, nationwide, how much damage and property damage and deaths that have occurred from, the e-bikes, the scooters, and the lithium-ion batteries.
So this battery was not even on a charger?
It was not on charge.
It was just
It was,
sitting?
the battery, as you will see in the picture, it was sitting on a piece of wood, the fake plastic wood. And you can see where that it burned the wood. It blew out on both ends and caused quite a bit of damage in there until it self-extinguished itself. Nationwide, charging lithium batteries for devices like scooters and e-bikes sparked 330 fires in the U.S. from 2015 to 2018, causing more than $9 million property damage. Says the Consumer Product Commission study released in 2020. And as I put, note, this battery was not on charge. It was apparently talking to the investigator for the insurance company. They could have a difference in temperature as far as dampness or something like that can cause issues also. If you see...
Yeah. We have 100 fires a year, they're causing $9 million of property damage. I think that's a reflection of people with 4 e-bikes.
Right. But if it had failed in the upper section, obviously this e-bike's parked next to a propane tank and things like that. But we were very lucky that even in the basement that the whole place wasn't lost because of that. And that's always one of those things that you're like, what started the fire, you know, because without a detection system, people don't know that anything is going on. We are waiting to hear from Tuftonboro PD to see if they are going to be using the $50,000 Gopher grant. I don't know if
this
the chief...
one, in this one.
Whoop. Did I?
3 members of the.
Oh, yeah, 3 members of the department have tested positive for COVID and will be out for required
So did you
days.
do tracing? I mean, have these guys impacted the rest of your firefighters?
The 3 of them were together in a vehicle. We traced it back to one of the call members that had been at, apparently been at a wake, and went from there. But he was in a closed vehicle with the other 2.
So it hasn't affected the rest of the department?
No.
Okay.
We've everyone that had any contact with these people have been tested to make sure that we're not there. But it has affected the department because obviously it takes 3 people right out of the mix in the beginning as far as it goes. So.
How's Chris coming along from his accident?
He is going to be off light duty in 2 weeks, I believe. He's gone from a cast to a brace now, but still has to be on light duty for that. But he was a very lucky individual from being hit. So
Back to Gopher.
So that, as far as, I don't know if Chief Chigori had been here before me, obviously, and whether or not that he's gonna apply for that grant.
Yeah, I know that they're working on a Gopher grant. There was another grant I gave them some information on.
Okay.
And we should share that with Adam as well, just in case there's some public safety piece that you can put together.
I know that apparently you had discussed the cruiser aspect with him and
Right, radios.
and stuff like that. So obviously it's a short window,
Right.
so the sooner we know the better. But
Well, I know he was going to be seeking some other money opportunities, so I'll definitely get together with him and see what you guys can come up with.
Yeah.
Right, we've got, right now, it's, what is today, the 27th?
Third.
23rd, I'm sorry, 23rd. So, I believe the applications are due by the 3rd of June.
yes, that's the closing
So
date.
that's a week from Friday. So we're not gonna meet between now and then, but if any of you come up with some brilliant ideas, I think we could each talk individually with the chiefs about any sort of you know, any other items. I mean, I know the fire department's looking at a sign trailer. Chris Rule was talking about co-usage of a sign trailer for
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
transfer
because-
station.
Because the ones that we had looked at apparently have the radar, they have everything, they would be
Right.
co-used through the three departments.
What's available? What kind of things can we get with this go for money?
Public safety stuff. I mean, I don't have it in front of me.
There's not a list that
Right.
specifically says this, but apparently the chief did get some information from the state that said that some departments have received such and such equipment from.
I mean, I'm
from
more
that,
interested
whether
in-
it's cruiser or.
I think I'm more interested in offsetting costs for things that I've already got. So for instance, a new cruiser needs radios. The addition of the sign trailer, I'm less excited about, but if that's all we get, I guess.
And I'm just looking at that because I know that we had mentioned it in the past,
Right.
and if he wasn't going for anything for that, then I wasn't gonna let that just go by the wayside.
Do we have IEDs in all our facilities?
It's fine.
Defibrillators? Do we
Yes.
have one here? Do we have one
Yep.
at the recycling center?
Yeah. And we have AEDs in
AEDs, excuse me.
every,
Come on. Watch out.
every town property has a defib that we monitor, you know, as far as to keep track of.
At some point, every place in town has somebody that can operate it.
All the police vehicles, all the fire apparatus have that equipment.
All right. I'll probably come in sometime this week
Okay.
and go over these grants, because we've got 2 grants now. And if, there's really no reason why we shouldn't. I mentioned one to Dennis about his bike trail, because one of the last grant I read talked about bicycles, so I thought maybe we could do something with that.
And the last thing, I'd like to thank the members and officers of Tufton Fire Rescue Department for making the 2 weeks I was away on vacation go seamlessly. And it was great to know that I have such a dedicated group of individuals.
Well,
Keep the things going.
that's a testament to their leadership.
There you go.
Everything went off without a hitch for that. Didn't know that.
All those beatings,
Yeah.
they pay off after a while.
Do you guys have anything further as far as?
Was there a major boat repair that was gonna happen, or has that already happened? Was there a bottom?
As far as the boat, the only thing that we have left with that is that we had the gel coating repaired. That was under $2,000.
Okay.
And we're going to put a rub rail on each side of the boat, which probably will not occur until after the boat season now, as far as it goes. But that, again, was right around $2,000 something, and that was budgeted for.
And I spoke with our local fish and game officer about the Pier 19 project, and so you'll probably hear from him at some point.
Just take that and digest that. That's something
Okay.
that's something that I'm going to
Look at,
look at and present during the budget season.
and this is my copy.
Yeah, you can have that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Sorry I was late.
It's okay.
You didn't make the next appointment late, so we're all is good.
Actually, we're early.
You have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too.
Excuse me.
See you.
Steve Wingate, you're up, buddy.
Take care.
Thank you guys, Mark.
Thanks for what you do for us. What you did for us down there.
No, not a problem at all.
Thank you.
Wow,
What's up?
I forgot the appointment.
I'm filling in for Steve, who's on vacation. The Mirror Lake, the little 1 acre pocket property down there by the church, across from the church. Steve talked to you about probably a couple of weeks ago.
He did south of, or west of the dam, is that the piece that we're looking at?
Yeah, right there. It's not developable, but we thought it would be desirable mostly because it gives us easy access to the stream here to keep the beaver dams out, and we're trying to keep the level of Mirror Lake stable because of the work we did on Lane Pond Road. If the water level goes up about 6 inches, it cuts off the flow, the potential flow through the culverts under Lane Pond Road, and then it goes over the top in a storm and washes it out, and which was traditionally a big problem on Lane Pond Road.
Remind us what the plan is here. Do people want to sell the property or?
Yeah.
So this is Tufton Neck Road,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this is the place that was dredged out 150 years ago,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's currently owned by a brother and sister who inherited it from their dad, who owned the property over here.
Okay.
And when they sold this property, they forgot to include this. So it's just been sitting there, and they've been paying taxes on it, and they don't really want
Well,
to
you
own
can't be
it.
paying too much tax on it.
Can't do anything with it.
No, right. Well, somebody actually probably could, they could put a picnic table down there, they could put a little dock out here to get access to Mirror Lake, probably. It could be of interest.
It would be tough to do, though.
It'd be tough to do, yes, and it'd be very dangerous to try
Quite.
to access this property for recreation. Because when the cars come around the corner here, you can't see anything on that side of the road because of the vegetation of the corner. I certainly wouldn't want any of my relatives.
So do they have a value that they're thinking of?
So it's assessed for $13,000, which we thought was funny. We offered them 5, which was, Steve said that was your suggestion. And they were hoping for the 13, well, at least one of them was, but they.
Well, give them a charitable contribution for 8.
We told them about that.
Yeah, what do they think?
It wouldn't be worth it for that. Have to get an appraisal and everything. But they eventually gave us a verbal okay on that, so.
On what?
On $5,000.
And you have that in your pocket, do you? Or are you looking for 5? We just gave you 10, so you should have.
We have over $5,000 in the conservation fund. I think we should ask Mirror Lake Protection Association to kick in something. And I think we should ask the town to kick in something, because at least for me and a couple other members who were on the Mirror Lake Watershed Committee who work on Lane Pond thing, this is all about protecting Lane Pond Road to keep it from being washed out like used to happen every 3 or 4 years.
We should have these meetings in the morning.
So
It's a little late.
if you got this,
We already give you money. That $10,000 we gave you this week, that is largesse from the town of Tuftonboro. We're not obligated by law to give you that money. There's no statute that says we have to give you that money. We voted to allow the Conservation Commission to get a portion of the land use change tax money.
Yep.
That is still land use change tax money. So it's the town's money that came to your commission.
Yep.
That's what you're getting from my vote, but you guys can vote any way you want.
how do you plan to manage that if you were to get it?
We don't have any plans to do anything other than use it to access the beaver dams, keep the water level stable.
I think if they're up in the conservation easement on it, they're taking fee ownership of it, so that shouldn't be a plan, although we probably should require something.
I'm just curious
Yeah.
in general, if they're planning on doing anything with it, maintaining it, keeping the weeds cut, keeping the water flowing.
Keeping the water flowing is the big one.
Yeah,
And it is, there are a lot of
But
invasive
you see-
weeds in that neck of the woods, a lot of poison ivy. That's something that could be tackled.
It would give us an opportunity to use the road agent for the control of the water flow as well. Which you can't go on there now, it's their land, not our land.
I'm not sure how far you'd get with anything. There's a very, very small little concrete foundation right up about in here that might be 10 feet square, and the bank drops off right there down into the swamp. And then it kind of tapers back here to where there is no banking at all. And over through here, the swamp continues pretty much right up to here. And there's a little path that somebody made out in here that they put grass clippings on, which kind of allows you to walk out there and get, if you drop over the side of a rock, you can drop into the brook. Ben Ladd and I were in there 77 times a couple of years ago, cleaning that up.
But
That's-
all of its frontage, western frontage is on 109.
Yep.
So
I mean, this,
access is not nice, but it's still there.
well, I mean,
It's
for
not like you-
the road agent, I don't know what he'd do. You can't get any equipment in there, is the thing.
Well, I'm just saying, if he needs to do beaver dam removal, that's the guy we go to.
Well, it hasn't been in the past.
I don't know who does it, but
Well, according to the DES, the landowners are responsible to take the beaver dams out.
right.
They didn't. I shouldn't say that. Mary Ann Murray and, why do I have to do that? Jimmy Champagne did it once, and then they realized what work it was. Ben Ladd and I went in prior to the Lang Pond Road project and cleaned that thing out 77 times with landowner permission. If we own that piece of property, we don't need any landowner's permission to do whatever.
No, but then it becomes our obligation.
It,
We don't need the
If the-
permission of the landowner.
Nope.
But the first part of your
yes, you're right.
presentation
Yep.
is it's our responsibility. at
Yes,
that point.
it is. However, it has been done and it will get done again, but I cannot imagine the road agent doing anything at all in there.
Well, I know that he's done beaver pond mitigation or dam mitigation in the past.
Where they could get equipment in, yes.
Yeah, well,
Not getting it in there. Take a walk, that's all I'm telling you.
I'm not gonna be the road agent.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue about what his capabilities
Well,
are.
I'm totally in favor of the Conservation Commission purchasing that piece of property for $5,000
I'll second that.
with
motion.
their money.
I'll second that motion.
was that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
Has been seconded. Any more discussion?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So because it's an acquisition of property, and because of the conservation fund, we have to do a public hearing to spend from the conservation fund.
Mhm.
You guys have to do 2 hearings to acquire property.
Yep,
So that's pretty much why I'm here, is to get
yep,
that motion.
yep. We'll start the notice process on that. We're not meeting next Monday, so it would have to be the 6th of June. And I think that's time enough, because I think there's only a 10-day notification.
Yeah, that would actually work, I think, pretty well.
Yeah,
For the first hearing, anyway.
so, then I gotta get it in the paper, we can't get it in the paper.
We wouldn't do our hearing until the 3rd Monday of June.
Right.
The paper comes out on June 2nd. It's not enough time.
No.
Are we still required to do the paper, or is our website and posting
No, we're
sufficient?
still required to do a local publication. I think we need to start thinking about the Conway Sun or something different than the
Yeah, we
Granite
don't
State.
need 10 days for the sun.
No, you can get it in the next 2 days.
Right.
I'm just thinking if there's another,
Does the quote-unquote local publication have to be available in the town?
yeah,
Okay, where does anybody have the Sun? Does Pier 19 have it? I don't know. They don't do it at Center Tuftonboro. Pinecone store is closed,
The Conway Sun's in Harvest.
but that's not in
That's not
Tuftonboro.
Tuftonboro.
Right.
right.
So I don't know if they have it at Pier
I keep
19.
seeing at the general store.
Because Ronnie LeBranch brings a copy in once in a while when he gets it, but they don't
They don't
subscribe.
have it at 19 mile per hour.
I don't know that. I'm asking because I thought maybe you knew, but I know you're in and out of there all the time.
Am I?
You forget a lot of things,
I
Chuck.
do, I'm very, very old. All right, we'll look into advertising and see.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
Because the
Yeah.
United States becoming less user friendly. And I don't think our public hearings have any conflict with what you guys are doing for public hearing.
They're not really.
It'll have to be before it or after it, it doesn't matter, it's up to how.
Conservation Commission doesn't acquire land, we only facilitate it. And in this case, our public hearing is to spend from the conservation fund.
Right, so we'll need to contact our attorney. Do you have a purchase and sale with them yet, or you just got a
We
handshake?
just have a verbal right now.
Okay, so we need to put a purchase and sale together. And then we need to do a title search and all that.
We could edit the one that we used for Lion's Lot, probably, and just use that. That was put together by Rick.
Yeah.
Where's our attorney now?
Mitchell Group, out of Laconia.
Steve, can I have that back?
Yes.
Can I keep it? Thank you.
Do you want the tax card? With the names on it?
Sure,
And do you?
thanks.
Yeah. We gotta put a purchase and sale together. Are they here now, the people that are the heirs of this property?
Robin lives, I think, over in Meredith, and Scott lives here in Tuftonboro. Those are the brother and sister that own it.
Right. Well, I just notified that we're ready to go on it, but we need to get some paperwork put together.
Yep. Okay.
And I can then make that one of my projects to see if we can get that paperwork put together and who we're gonna advertise with.
Mhm.
That's good, thanks Steve.
Way to go.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good evening, Steve.
Yep. Okay, our copious signature file. What happens when we don't show up to work? Okay, the first item for signature is a letter to Mr. Hillard.
Highland.
Is it Highland?
I thought we signed that already.
I thought so too, but it doesn't hurt to do it again.
No.
Costs nothing.
All right, this is appointing Selectman Pike and Selectman Murray to the Carroll County Communication District Planning Committee.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the next item is an appointment for Steve Scapiccio for the Conservation Commission for a term that will expire June of 2025. I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the next is an appointment of Kate Nesbitt of Tuftonboro to the Conservation Commission with a term ending June 2025. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Um,
Do you want the explanation for that one?
Yeah, I was kind of scratching my head when I saw
So-
that too.
I thought she was. not
She's here for 2 more weeks.
Oh,
We
so-
cannot have 2 deputies, so she has to be assistant clerk for the last 2 weeks she's here.
And her term runs out before she leaves.
Doesn't have a term.
What's she doing
She's
right now?
already appointed assistant clerk.
Right,
Why do we need to reappoint her?
because she has 2 weeks left and we can't have 2 deputies.
We haven't appointed the other person yet.
You did, you signed it.
Oh, I signed it.
Yeah.
You signed it Friday.
The rest of them didn't. I see what we're doing.
No, you signed the appointment for Lisa on Friday when you
Right.
signed the checks. Because she got hired for the 20th because of,
I signed this.
yep. And you signed the appointment on Friday with the checks. Kathy gave it to
Did
you.
I? All right, so,
Did 2 selectmen sign it? Did we all sign it?
You all signed it.
do we all sign it?
Mhm.
Okay, we all signed it. So if we can't have 2 assistant clerks, why are we signing this?
No, you can't have 2 deputy
Tax collector.
tax collectors. But you can have an assistant clerk.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
all right. so
Sorry.
This is a go-around.
Because the position that we filled is
Gotcha.
assistant clerk
And
and
deputy
deputy
tax
tax.
Gotcha.
So this is a temporary appointment of Priscilla Keaton for assistant clerk,
Mhm.
and I'll make that a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I did meet with Lisa Boucher,
Boucher. I was introduced to her this afternoon.
and we have limited veto capacity when it comes to elected officials hiring, but we do it on an advisory consent basis.
Mhm.
And I'm perfectly satisfied with the choice by our town clerk and tax collectors. So I'll make a motion that we sign the request for change of employment compensation, because the employment compensation is going back to grade 1 of $19.29. It's less money than our current assistant and deputy is making.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have, this is New Hampshire Electric. So this is
That is one of 2 that happens in a year.
that's a court settlement. Okay, so we had a long battle in court with the utilities versus vis-a-vis the taxes that they pay on the poles. And this is the settlement agreement. It's paid out over time. So this is an abatement to the New Hampshire Electric Cooperative for $11,625 per settlement agreement dated 3/18/2019. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this is in our favor?
It ended up being in our favor, because,
But by the time all the legal
yeah,
hoo-ha got taken care of, that went on for what,
We
4 or
had-
5 years?
we had collected more tax money than we should have. It's the best we could do. Okay, I had intent to cut timber on lot 30-3-5.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And intent to cut timber on 46-1-12 and 46-1-13 on Canaan Road.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Today's the 23rd.
Did I put something else in there?
Yeah.
I'll make that 7 into a 3. And intent to cut for map 66 lot 2 -44, 45, and 43.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And intent to cut for map 66, lot 2, sub 1. Take a bunch of,
He wanted to do 2 separate ones.
Why did you, chips? So are there no chips on that one, Guy? Wood chips? Biomass, all the way down by miscellaneous?
400 it says here,
400 tons?
just says 400, doesn't say, oh yes, I'm sorry, it's under tons, right, yeah.
So why are we doing an additional 20 tons on this lot? This is map 66, lot 2, sub 1. What are those? That's,
This is map 66, lot 2, sub 44 and 45 and 43.
okay, so it's a different lot.
Yes.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And got an original warrant yield tax levy for sand and gravel? No,
No, timber.
timber. Okay, timber tax levy. So this is the amount levied against the intent to cut. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I've got a letter to Ms. Dixon, whoever that is. Okay. This letter is dated May 9th, 2022. Dear Ms. Dixon, at the Tuftonboro Select Board work session meeting of May 2nd, 2022, the Select Board voted to endorse the placement of a state marker, historic marker, along Route 109 in front of the Abenaki Tower parking lot entrance. Thank you for your efforts to recognize this notable scenic site that pays tribute to the indigenous people of this area and for your assistance in celebrating the upcoming 100th anniversary of the tower in 2004. How's that work?
Wonderful. Lee. I don't think we need to move on. We already
Upcoming,
had-
hold on. Upcoming 100th anniversary of the tower in 2004 doesn't work for me. I mean, it's
No.
2022 already.
Right.
Was the 100th anniversary in 2004?
I have no idea. I was not here for that meeting. That is a letter that Jane did. This is all Jane's stuff.
Okay, so
That's the letter.
Well, the upcoming anniversary.
2024.
2024. Okay.
Jeez. Do that again?
I'll do it.
Okay. Action items? Do we have action items? Okay,
Yeah, well, no, yes and no.
yeah, we do. American Red Cross.
I need all of those in here.
Okay. Okay, American Red Cross is doing a fundraiser. That's out of our budget season, so if you want to donate to the American Red Cross personally, it's a wonderful thing.
I donate blood occasionally.
But we can't, we don't have any place to get the money.
Right.
Okay, New Hampshire Lakes. They're looking for a donation as well. They need, all of these folks need to ask us in the fall for donations in our upcoming budget. We can't spend money that we weren't allowed at town meeting to spend.
Well, maybe that's an early request. Maybe they just mailed it to us too early in the season.
Okay. It says 2022.
Oh, well, all right.
I'm happy to have them.
Nice try.
I think we can have Candy get back to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, I had asked Kathy to look into a payroll system. And so far she's come up with Anchor Payroll. And she's gotten quotes from a couple of accounting offices. And And so far it hasn't worked out, but we're still looking, because I still think it should be done. I've got a ballot for the board of directors for the New Hampshire Electric Co-op. We need to vote on.
Are we, yeah, I'm not sure. I got one of those in the mail.
We get one ballot.
We get one for the town?
Right,
Okay.
right, even though we've got multiple meters.
Mhm.
Well, I would move that how many votes do we have on there?
4.
4? Well, I would speak to 1.
Okay,
I would say that we should support Alana Albee being a Tufton Borough resident.
there you go.
I can't imagine that she wouldn't be thinking in our town's best interests.
I agree.
I'm not gonna comment, because she's my sister. I know we need to choose 4 candidates for this thing. So if
I can't
you
speak-
have any other information.
I can't speak intelligently to
I
any
know
of the
nothing
candidates.
about them other than Elena.
Okay, the only thing I know is that there's a flyer, I think I saw it at the store, which supports 4 candidates who are pro broadband.
Yes.
And I think if that's really our major component here as far as the
Mhm.
co-op's concerned, as well as getting reasonable power rates. But do you want to vote for those 4 candidates?
I would support the candidates that support New Hampshire Electric Co-op bringing broadband in. Hopefully Alana is one of those members.
She's on that list. I saw that today, but I wish I could remember the other names, but if you know them,
No, I don't, but I'll find the list.
let's do that.
Okay.
I agree.
So I'll.
Do we need to motion it, or?
Sure.
I would move that we vote for the 4 members that are on this list that support broadband being brought into Tufton Borough.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next item is a letter from Chris Fournier, who works for HEB Engineering. He's addressing the hazardous mitigation grant program, which the chief of police has also mentioned, but he's looking, or Mr. Fournier is looking at it specifically for the police department and the bridge on Tufton Borough Neck. He also mentions in this letter the SB 401, which may or may not happen, but it's a amendment to the bridge fund, so that would bring us maybe back out of the 2030s for our bridge. And there's a culvert flood risk assessment program, culvert replacement, that he's gonna keep us apprised of. So we should probably, given the fact that there's $400,000 with no need to match on the culvert and flood risk, and there's $11 million worth of hazard mitigation, we should get back to Chris and ask him if he'd like to come in, or if he has suggestions about filling out these applications for grants, because July 1st seems to be the,
And that's right around the corner.
yeah, it is, it's coming right up.
I think if there's money out there, we should grab every penny that we can.
Yeah,
If we don't grab it, someone else is gonna.
Provided that we're not hamstrung by rules and regulations, I would say.
True.
There's always rules and regulations.
True.
Okay, the next letter is from Kathleen McPhail, and this is the letter that the chief of police was referencing vis-a-vis the parking on 109 across the street from the Tufton Borough General Store that impacts the sight lines for people coming out of Federal Corner Road. I don't think it doesn't matter if you go south or north, it's gonna affect your sight lines if there's a truck or a
Yes.
dog or van or whatever. So I wasn't ready today to have a vote on no parking signs there, because it's just, I find it would be almost unenforceable unless we had a police officer there all the time.
I have to agree with that observation.
I do agree with that. Admittedly, I'm one of the ones that will park out in that very,
Myself as well.
in that very spot.
Park over there.
But I'm usually only there to get my mail in and out, as is the hundreds of people that do park there. They're typically in and out. And they've been doing that a
Forever.
hell of a lot longer than I've been in town.
Yeah.
I'm not inclined to take any action.
No, I mean, I'd like to slow the traffic down across there. I mean, that's the only beef I've got with what goes on there. I mean, people driving through there at 40, 50 miles an hour, I see as a real issue.
Cresting that hill is not a good idea at
Yeah,
40
and
miles an hour.
it's not just the people coming out of Federal Corner, right? It's pedestrians,
Mhm.
you know, or people getting their mail and walking across to their cars.
And that section of road right there, it's 35 miles an hour, and there's only a recommended 25 mile an hour sign. There's a yellow sign
Yeah,
that recommends 25 miles an hour.
I think I'd rather, yeah, people are going 25 miles an hour and you're coming out of Federal Corner Road and somehow you didn't see them. It's not a fatal accident.
Right. I think the problem going through there is, like you said, speed.
Yeah, I think we need to counsel our chief of police to spend a little time down in that neck of the woods.
So how do you want me to get back to her tomorrow?
Does she want to come and see us?
She wants to come see you, yes.
Okay, so if she wants to come and see us, she gets to come.
Okay.
We can't say no.
So am I asking
Invite her.
all the other people too?
How many other people are there?
Well, no, Chief said store owner.
No, we're not gonna make
Okay,
that kind,
So
we
just
just
her.
need to hear her complaint
Okay.
first.
all right. Well, it's all right there on the paper.
If we, yeah, that's just hearsay. If we decide we're gonna make some move in that direction, now we gotta invite the store owner and we gotta Ed's Garage, he's another guy.
Yes.
Cause they park on that side of the road too, up by where he
Yes.
is.
They do.
Right in front of Todd's house.
Yeah, so it's impactful, plus it's a commercial zone. I mean, I'm not a no parking guy in a commercial zone.
Well, it's not a commercial zone. It's
Neighborhood business.
neighborhood business.
I don't know,
Yeah.
that's a distinction without a difference. in my-
Semantics, but
Maybe it is. All right, so we'll have her in, she can explain her position. The Lakes Region Planning Commission has launched a housing project to assess needs, recommended solutions. Boy, that's a poorly worded sentence. So they've got a couple of surveys going out about community surveys and employer surveys and links to their website. So this is covering an area from Freedom and Effingham in the east to Danbury and Andover. Danbury, all of Hippie Hill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sandwich in the north to Banstead in the south. So it's a pretty extensive area. And some good information, especially for renters. 2021, a two-bedroom median gross rent increased to $1,498 a month, which is a bit high, but I'm not a renter. So that's an effort. That's, put that up on the phone. Anybody interested in housing issues, please come in and see Candy. And last but not least, correspondence. So in the correspondence, we have a course completion by the chief of police. I don't know who the sample letter for broadband is from. Is that,
I skipped a page.
Yeah.
yeah, but we've already talked about Lisa. So good there. That's just a letter.
I sent that.
Okay.
I got that from Rick Highland, because we have been discussing getting information from our
providers.
from our providers. This is a draft letter in very rough draft format that we could use, manipulate to our own specifications to use to get this request for information from our suppliers.
Okay.
So we choose to do, if we choose to do that.
Well, we need, the more information we have, the more likely it, I mean, we're gonna need information in order to secure federal grant money.
Yeah, we need to do this.
So the resistance I have is that we've asked for this information on numerous occasions and have been unsuccessful in getting it.
Mhm. Have you asked for a letter like that? Apparently
No.
that, from what I understand, that letter has all the terminology that requires them to provide the information.
So
that-
this
that we
letter
need.
supposedly works.
Yes.
All right, so have you read the letter?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we have Cammy type it up so it doesn't have draft over the top and it has our information on here?
Yeah, let's do that.
And we don't have currently a broadband provider. We have
Correct.
a cable provider,
Correct.
so.
How about you guys fill it in and I will be happy to type it,
Okay.
since I probably don't know all the answers.
Well, I don't know, who's our cable provider?
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
And I guess we do get internet services from TDS,
Do we?
and don't they do,
In Melbourne, you can.
don't they do, what's it, DSL? And Consolidated does DSL. So those are,
Okay, so we need three different letters.
yes,
Okay, so one to Spectrum,
Consolidated and
TDS.
TDS.
Consolidated, and TDS.
Yeah.
Okay. In Tuftonboro. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the board for, I'm gonna make a motion that the board approve the creation of this letter.
A second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So this would be June 6th. That's our next meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so we will we'll actually
Do the three of us have to
vote to
sign?
sign the letter.
I would make a motion that we authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the Board of Selectmen.
Second?
Hold on.
If there's, if it
I
has,
thought there was some language in here that,
oh, we can wait.
no, there isn't. Okay, so it's up to you. I mean, I'm not gonna sign it till the 6th when we come
Right.
back to meet again.
Right, we can do it then.
I mean, if you're, and I don't mind having the chairman sign it. It's not a problem for me to do that.
Well,
But
if it's
you're
not-
gonna be here too.
All right, if it's not necessary, retract your second.
I retract my
I'll
second.
retract my motion.
Okay.
I was thinking that we could get this
Just get it
letter
out sooner. right?
processed out and out the door sooner, and you are more available.
Well, I'll entertain the motion again, if you wanna have me sign it on a Friday when I'm doing payroll.
I don't think the time is of that much of an essence.
Okay. All right. That's yours. We've got our bill for the 2022-2023 school year for the town of Tuftonboro. So our local total is $7,507,806. We're
Wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for all of our little children. And Allstate's Construction has given us a quote on the roads that we plan on resurfacing and repairing this coming summer.
It's the exact same quote that you saw, except Chandler is added, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so can we have,
Or Shirley Way, sorry.
right, so let's have Jim come in just on that issue on the 6th.
Okay. He's coming in that day anyway.
Okay, yeah, so we need to get that going. You're all aware of the Camp Belknap letter?
Yes.
Heard
Yes.
that?
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's old news to me.
Cash receipt for drugs, that was a good thing. Zoning ordinance was approved. And then more information about the police station.
I think it's the same information.
Yeah,
it
it's
is, yeah.
just a repeat.
The horse crossing, which we talked about.
Right.
Homeland Security grant call today. And more talk about the USC. Okay. Selectmen's updates. Anybody? Bueller?
I don't know if we have all been made aware of an individual's concern that the planning board fees may be exorbitant and we cannot make money on those fees, but I took the opportunity to look at other planning boards bordering us and what their fees were, and for all intents and purposes, all the towns are charging virtually the same amount. And to my line of thinking, until our overall budget brings in more than we spend, no one has made any profit. And that's how I explained that to the individual who was concerned about it. That may be more in Bob's purview, being the planning board
Yeah, well,
representative.
I just tangentially heard about some fee change, but can you explain it to us, Bob?
Well, I can't really explain the structure of the fee change without having the information in front of me, and I don't have any information in front of me. But I will say that there was a comment made about, the town making money on fees, and I made it a point, I made my point that the town should never be in the business of making money on fees. We are only charging fees to recover costs. So if our fees are recovering those costs, and as long as we're not making any money on it, I think that our fees are in line, especially if they're in line with other towns.
Okay.
Did I articulate that
Did the,
well enough?
you did, I guess, although I'm not certain what, I think we need to set the fees, not the planning board. I mean, we determine the budget. They didn't bring anything forward as far as revenue is concerned in the last budget season. So I'm not certain where this is coming from. I mean, when the transfer station needs to charge for waste oil, we make that determination. That's a fee that's getting charged to the public. When Jack Parsons wants to charge a fee for an electrical installation permit or a building permit, we are the assessing officials, so
Yeah.
we set that rate. I mean, a lot of stuff is set statutorily, like the fees that the tax collector charges
Sure.
and the town clerk charges. But I'm not certain, I need to know why the planning board feels they need more money in order to make this work. I mean, obviously, if you have the fee structure there to accommodate for your expenses, but also to drive the process, if you will. I mean, and sometimes it's totally out of line, you decide you're gonna put a $20,000 development fee through the planning board on anybody that wants to put a shopping center in. It just means you don't want a shopping center. But usually the fees that the planning board's charging are commensurate with what it costs to do the business, like registry costs and engineer costs and all of that sort of thing. I don't know what's driving it, but that's all.
Well, let me, it'll take a little while to get the information. It'll take a couple of weeks. It'll be at the next planning board meeting. I'll dig deeper into it and then I'll come back to the selectmen with more information.
Yeah, I think we just need to we need to all be on board with this if that's gonna happen. And, I mean,
Are you saying the planning board can't set their own fees?
I don't think they can, but I don't know that they ever have. But maybe, I haven't done a lot of research on this. Is
First time it came up to me.
brand new conversation on this topic. So I think we should look into who originated the fees, where the fees start from.
I read something, I don't have my planning board stuff with me, so
Yeah, no,
I don't
that's fine.
have,
Well, let's leave it this way. Do you have anything coming through the planning board in the next week?
no, we just met Thursday night. The next meeting is until June 16th.
Okay, so put together what you can by the 6th of June,
Okay,
and then we'll talk about it.
all right.
And if there is something that you can find that says that the planning board will set their own fees at their own,
Yeah, their discretion, whatever.
discretion, that's another discussion, so.
Well, that allows me to segue, because you mentioned the codes officer and his fees. We sign these permits, applications for building permits, but I never see any square footage on those.
Oh, yeah,
I don't see the numbers.
not
Why?
on there.
No,
but I've
but-
seen them.
Okay, well, if I did, knowing that this proposed police station is certainly no bigger than some of the projects that are being built in town, if I could correlate the square footage of one of those with the cost and get a square foot price, maybe because we're a little more industrial, it would be a little higher, but it'd give me more of a feel of what the real cost to build this thing might actually be. I don't know, maybe we could just ask Jack one time to do a couple of these, just figure out a square foot price, maybe come up with an average of what people are building or something.
Or
Just-
he's got a plan. Well, his fees are based on market rate.
Yeah,
So, and he and Rob, the assessor, get together
Yeah.
from time to time.
so, well, when he comes again, maybe we can ask him what he thinks the square foot cost average is, or,
We have a copy of the plans.
yeah, well, I know that, but I'm talking about
No,
what
no.
they're building now.
I know. But we can ask Jack. It's not as if we're asking for a mysterious thing. We have
Right.
the plans. I want to build that. I'm just a homeowner. How much is it going to cost me to get a permit? And he'll figure out a permit cost for it based on construction costs, theoretically.
Well, I think it would be a useful thing to know.
Okay.
Maybe the prices we're seeing are too low. They could be, at this point in time, they could be too high. But something that gives me a little more guidance, because I work in the industry, as you know. I'm scared, that's all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be building today,
People are.
personally.
They're going crazy. I don't know if it's because they think something's gonna happen and they're gonna lose all their money or what, but,
No, I mean, everybody makes their own financial decisions.
right. That's pretty much all I got. There's nothing going on.
What about you, Robert?
I had a pretty busy meeting at planning board the other night. Like I said, June 16th is our next meeting. Matt Young has stepped down as chairman. Gary Quire is taking over as chairman. Carol Bush is going to be vice chairman
Matt staying on the board then?
as an alternate.
Okay.
And George Madoff who is now a current alternate, is going to be stepping into a full-time position. So,
Okay.
no real change in members, just
Shifting
of seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the planning board is looking for a couple more alternates if anybody in town wants to serve.
Get
the
with
planning
Dennis,
board.
he seems to be attracting people to these things, but he makes work more fun.
Over the last couple of years, Matt Young has been investing some time and money, engineering, whatever it takes to have a crosswalk built down at Pier 19. And that process is now complete and ready to be taken over by the town if we wish to build a crosswalk. Any of the fees associated with the actual installation and maintenance will be on us, on the town. But the engineering has been done and has been approved by the state.
So the state's approving the crosswalk?
Yes.
Okay. So,
That's the letter I showed you the other day that Matt sent me that wanted Jim's signature on it.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
So I don't know, I can certainly have Jim sign it.
How much is this gonna cost?
No idea.
Well, we have to know that.
We have anyway. I'm sure this is going to be something that we're going to do in budget season. Can't imagine we're going to do it
I
this
mean,
year.
how much, obviously, Matt Young spent some money getting this thing together.
Yes.
Now he wants to give it to us. Now he's giving us something that has value.
Yes, he's giving us a package that we can do with it what we wish.
Okay.
He's donating his services and the money that he spent to have this engineering and approval process completed
Right.
to the town.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to figure out what it's gonna cost to go all the way to the end.
Right. Right.
So I don't know what this letter is that you want Jim Bean to sign. Because Jim Bean isn't gonna make a decision about whether or not
No.
he's just gonna make a decision whether or not he's gonna maintain it.
Yep.
And we need to have a discussion with the state, so maybe we get some, who did Matt talk to get their permature?
I think we need to see the package, and it'll give us a lot more information
Yeah.
that we want to know.
So this is to,
So they're asking it to be, they said it's already been signed. They need it signed again because everywhere it says there now New Hampshire Route 109,
yeah,
it had a typo and said Route 131 or something like that.
So this is a letter that's already been signed, but it was signed in,
That's what they're telling
but it
me.
was signed in error due to typos, and they're refreshing it.
Yeah, but they're asking for Jim to sign it.
okay.
Does Jim have the authority to sign it?
Maybe, yeah. We'll see. So has this been retyped to be,
Yeah, that's the new one that they sent.
okay.
Well, topic for discussion next Selectmen's
Rapid
meeting.
flashing beacon system.
And Matt wanted it signed before this meeting today.
We'll see.
Good for him. I mean, we kind of have to know what the hell we're looking at before we're gonna sign anything.
That's
Maybe
why I
he
held
doesn't
it
do
till
that.
today.
And nothing would happen before next budget was approved anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, we can have Jim Dean accept the proposal.
But that doesn't mean we're committing to doing anything.
No, because only the electorate can tell us to do it.
So this is documenting understandings, policy, and facilitating operation and maintenance. Located under 109. Yeah. Excuse me. Yes, this agreement doesn't take effect until the crosswalk and the rapid flashing beacon are installed. In effect, once the RRFB are complete and operational and both the town and the state have accepted the work and shall remain in full force and effect for the term of 5 years unless and until a party elect unless and until a party elect to terminate this agreement with 30 days prior written notice. This agreement includes one automatic renewal for a period of 5 years, notwithstanding the above, where the original contractor's warranties provided to the town remains in effect. The responsibility for repairs and improvements outlined therein shall prevail. So I'm going to say that my reading of this is that we need to sign it when we get it done. I mean, if we sign it today, we go through the budget season, let's say it doesn't pass this year or 2023, but it passes in 2024. We only got 3 years left on our agreement at that point in time.
Well, agreeing, what are we agreeing to?
We're agreeing to,
I don't want to read the whole thing.
you don't want to...
Not right now.
We're agreeing to install the crosswalk, have the rapid flashing beacon professionally installed, maintain the crosswalk, however you maintain crosswalks.
Keep it white.
Paint it, and maintain the light, so if something happens to the light, we're on the hook for repairing it. And that whole thing is, our permit to have that in place is good for 5 years with an automatic 5-year renewal, unless the federal transportation people in Washington decide they don't like crosswalks. And then we have no remedies.
Oh,
They can just take it out. So,
I have no problem with this.
no, I don't have any problem with it either. I just want to have some idea that the time isn't tolling from the day you sign it. That hurts. We're not going to spend money on it until next year because we don't have the money to spend on it until next year, unless that's part of the gift. Is it? Do you know if that's part of the gift?
The engineering was the gift.
No, I'm fine with that, but I'm not trying to hard ass it.
No,
I'm just
I
saying,
know, I know.
If so, we're on the hook for putting the rest of this thing together.
Yeah,
We don't have it in our budget.
no, so it won't happen this year.
Not gonna happen this year. So
But is there any reason we can't sign it? All we're doing is agreeing that we're gonna maintain it once we do.
that's why I read that last paragraph to you. Okay? The duration of this agreement shall be effective once the RRFB are complete and operational and both the town and the state have accepted the work and shall remain in full force and effect for a term of 5 years.
So I guess if we sign it now, we're signing it in good faith,
Okay?
but the actual clock doesn't start until
It's
until
installed.
it's installed and stamped.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard as well.
All right, I'm open to a motion.
I'll move that we
Authorize the road agent, is that what they want, the road agent to sign it?
I guess that's what they're looking for, is a road agent signature. I'm
I
assuming-
move that we authorize the road agent to sign the letter.
Second? It's kind of,
I don't see anything binding in
Okay,
there.
all those in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna just comment on this, that the road agent cannot obligate the town to spend money.
right.
So I don't know what good this agreement is. So all those in favor?
He's agreeing to be part of the maintenance process?
No, he does what we tell him to do.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how it works. I mean,
all right, we're still gonna discuss.
okay, good.
We are, okay, right? If town meeting authorizes the funds to do this project, then his signature says that he will take the obligation to maintain it. If town meeting doesn't, doesn't have anything to do with it. It won't happen,
Yeah, it won't happen,
all
right?
right? So
So you're thinking that,
if he agrees that he will do that, provided the town meeting authorizes the funds, what's the,
Can I add to my motion?
sure, it's been seconded though. So-
I'll rescind my second.
Okay.
I'll rescind my first.
Okay, so rewrite
All
your
right,
motion.
I'd make a motion to authorize Jim Bean as an agent for the selectmen to sign this agreement.
Okay. Is it seconded?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye.
Okay.
So have Jimmy Bean sign that.
I can see us getting, the estimates and everything for the cost and going to town meeting, only to find out that the cost went up and we'd be in the same boat with every other project, so.
And it doesn't get done, and that letter is null and void because it
Yeah,
never get built. So I don't see anything binding in it. I don't see any harm in signing that letter.
Okay. I don't know, this has been a long meeting. Did I do anything?
Telling me, it's been a long day.
I came in a couple of times, but I think everything that I've done, I've addressed during the course of this general meeting.
I have one more thing,
Oh, I'm
item to
sorry.
discuss from the planning. We're still in Selectmen's update.
Yeah.
The senior members of the planning board have made it known that they would like to discuss with the selectmen, and I told them to write a letter a position letter and come up with a budget. They would like to see the selectmen consider a part-time planner to assist in their planning operations, basically for professional advice.
Yeah, we need to have something, they definitely need professional advice.
Yep.
But do they have their own attorney? So it's in addition to that, and what sort of planning are they looking to do?
To help with the proper planning and implementation of planning projects upcoming. There's the cut and dry, simple, build a house, yada yada, simple projects, but then there's the larger ones, the developments and whatnot that you really need professional assistance with, and they'd like the opportunity to have a part-time planner that can assist
Okay,
with
we need
these.
a budget number.
Budget and position letter.
And, I mean, I don't know, are there part-time planners
Yes.
in the world?
There are part-time planners. One works in Moultonborough, part-time.
Okay,
I don't have a name for you, but just letting you know that that's going to be coming down the
because
pike.
that's a budget item that would have to be put on the
Mhm.
floor.
You also received in your packet a budget proposal from Interstate Fire, and that's for the dry agent systems in our two vaults, first floor and basement vaults. That's just for information purposes. I think that's clearly that's something that's going to have to go before the voter next year. But I gave a copy of it to the fire chief to let him review. Perhaps we do want to put that on the warrant next year.
Yeah, we need to get a program together when we're going there, which, anymore?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, which brings you to the phone system, and the sky is not falling, I found out as I was leaving.
Mhm.
Although during the day on Friday, the sky was falling and the phone was not gonna be serviced or workable. That's not totally true.
Correct.
That's not totally correct, I'm sorry.
No, you're correct.
So I'm less inclined to push the phone question until next year.
That's fine.
So
I'm just, like I've said this from the beginning, I was just bringing an observation to the surface that we have a phone system that they don't make parts for anymore. If it goes down, the chances of us getting it serviced will be difficult. And if it needs replacement, it'll be timely.
And when we talk about the fire system or whatever in there,
Yep.
we need to include all the women that work in here, as far as the whole doors open and stuff, because they're gonna be open all the time. They're gonna be propped open, because we are not gonna open them every time we walk through.
That's all part of the system. Door magnets and automatic releases and whatnot.
Yeah, they're
So the
just-
telephone question brings to mind my question last week when I looked at signing checks. We spend a little over $31,000 a year for electricity. I think this coming fall, we need to get some estimates on putting solar panels up on some of those buildings. There's no reason we shouldn't be making our own electricity when we spend that.
No, keep in mind though, from what I've learned during working on solar for the last few years up at the county, is that rooftop solars are not what we're going to be looking at. We need, there's not enough real estate on our roofs to do solar that's going to be productive. We need to have a body of land. You're looking at about 2 acres per megawatt.
Yeah, well, we need to look at what our usages are.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of land up at the transfer station, we've got plenty of land by the fire station. I didn't look specifically at this building, and I'm not an electrician, I don't even play one on television. So I don't know if the roof that we have on the barn is inadequate. So all those questions need to be answered. But I really do think we need to explore this, because, you know, even if it costs $300,000, you're still, and I'm not saying that's what it would cost, but you still basically paid for it in 10 years, you got a 20-year system, so you got 10 years worth of.
I'm not opposed to solar.
So,
Would you like me to reach out to my solar contacts and invite
yeah, I
them
mean, I
in?
think we need to look at a bunch of them. I talked to my friend who owns a Volkswagen garage down in Rochester, and he's got a tracking system that he put in.
Mhm.
Chris get lots of aid from Volkswagen, who's got trying to sell electric cars. But he's got the numbers on what that cost and what the return on investment on that was, so, or is. So it's happening around us, I think we need to take advantage of it.
So, do you want me to
Sure.
reach out and invite a couple of these entities in for
Yeah,
a
I
meeting?
know 603's been around.
Revision,
Revision.
New Hampshire Solar Garden.
Yeah, bring a list in and let's take a look, because I had a run-in with one who was a total charlatan, but I won't name names on television.
Good.
But I think we need to be selective, and I'd like to keep the money in Carroll County if we can.
Yeah.
So, and benefit the people of Tufton Borough as much as possible. But I think that's about it.
Well, we have administrative secretary updates.
Oh,
2 items here that are listed under confidential might want to be spoken about in a non-public.
okay. Then you missed out. You want to share your copy?
You're welcome to.
This, okay, they're confidential. Yeah, I guess we do.
Hate to make it seems that way to me.
So, do we have any,
Public input?
Yes, we
public
do.
input?
Oh, boy.
Okay, I'm gonna,
I guess I wasn't heard.
did you have some?
Oh, yeah, I got a couple items.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I'll back up backwards. The crosswalk, and we don't know how much money it's gonna cost, literally, down on that 109A, and it belongs to the state, not us. On the crosswalk, slash lights and all this other stuff, and that we're gonna be responsible for.
Right.
I haven't heard a price yet, so, these are all gonna be general comments, yes, no, or I don't know, period. But I wanna stop at the top of my list and get it all done, because this is an awful long meeting. How many cops do we have in this town?
4.
And presently active are 3?
Four.
All
No, we have 4 active, 1 is currently out with COVID.
All right, so we have 3. So we covered from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. during the course of the day. And at night, they generally do call-outs. But if they don't get from our people, they have to go to the sheriff's office. Has the sheriff's office ever sent us any information in reference to, hey, we covered you this past year for X amount of hours for calls in your town? Have you ever seen a detailed report like that?
I don't know that we've ever asked for one.
Never asked one. All right, moving along. Okay, we're getting a brand new Chevy Tahoe for $45,000. Amazing. How much of that equipment of the old 2 vehicles that are left over, to the best of my knowledge, will be placed in this new vehicle? This will just be a detailed report on Andy, and or are we gonna just spend another $35,000 to outfit this new Chevy Tahoe? And then, what are we gonna do with the old vehicles?
I asked Andy that very question about equipment moving from one vehicle to the other.
Yes,
And he said it'd be minimal. There is some equipment that will come over, but most of it has to be upgraded to the new radio systems that we have.
and what happens to the old stuff and the old cars? What are we doing with those?
I would imagine that the old car would be auctioned off.
We haven't voted on that yet, but
Well, these are just some of the little questions. I mean, I sit here and I listen and say, well, what are we gonna do with that, okay? I have no idea. That's why I'm asking. Last but not least, I mentioned that. I'm just putting bugs in your ear. Mr. Pike, have you heard, last week, have you heard any more about, the motocross stuff going on in town with the noise and everything else? Has anybody been ringing your bell?
No,
okay, wait.
I have not.
Guy recused himself from that
Ah.
issue. So let's let him remain recused.
May I comment on that?
What?
Or at least, I recused myself when Mr. Fusco and Mr. Ratcliffe were here,
Yeah,
until I got an opinion from our attorneys.
okay.
Once I got the opinion from the attorneys, I feel I'm confident in speaking about any issue over there, now that I know that basically it's out of the selectmen's purview. To answer Joe's question, all I can say is no. That is pretty non-committal. Do you think so, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about it.
All I can
I've
say,
heard-
Joe, is no.
I've heard secondhand information, which is secondhand
Well,
information.
I've heard nothing.
So,
No.
Okay, so thank you for
I guess-
listening and have a good night.
yeah, thank you. So I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public 91A for personnel. I think that's the,
Personnel
Yeah.
covers the bottom one. I don't know about the top one.
no, that's reputation.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
We'll have to have 2.
Okay, we'll go for reputation first, and then we'll move to personnel.
Second,
All the yes.
Murray, yes.
Spike, yes?
Okay, thank you.